Day 14 and the final day of this crochet series. Congratulations to everyone who knew it was an elephant, although there were some really good guesses along the way. And before we get into this, I will say today was by far my favorite day of the entire series because it is strictly sewing. I started off by sewing on the underbelly. Now getting this thing to lay on its back was fine, no problem. But when it was time to get it to stand again, I really felt like I was trying to flip a tire. I don't know how heavy this thing is, but from this alone, I'm guessing 75 to 100 pounds. When I got it to stand, I attached the tail, and on the last row of the tail I did half double crochets and the other half was slip stitches so that I could get one side to be taller than the other. That's just going to allow it to lay better and further to be less creasing on the underside of the tail. I then added some little toes or toenails, whatever you want to call these. This is such a small detail that I think makes all the difference when it's finished. Then it was time to finally sew on the head, and of course I'm using my crochet hooks to hold this in place because I don't have knitting needles. But before I sewed the head on, I wanted to make sure that the placement of my eyes and my trunk was perfect. Also, if you recall, I added a few increases to the last few rows of the head so that it would join more seamlessly to the body. Exhibit A. I also added some stuffing to the back of the neck so that it would look more flat between the body and the head. When the head was on, I then secured the trunk, adding some filling, of course. And guys, when I tell you, I used every last inch of polyfill I had and I didn't need any more. I was so happy. After I got the trunk secured, I wanted the bottom to curve a little bit more. So I used this really simple sewing technique that I usually use on my minis, but we're actually going to come back to this. I then moved on to sew the ears on, and I purposefully made the ears in a way that the top of them can fold over a little bit. Again, just a minor detail that is going to make all the difference, to me at least. I then moved on to sink in the eyes. This super quick technique involves passing the yarn through both of the eyes and then pulling the yarn so that the eyes get pulled together. I then added some whites to the eyes because this is a baby elephant and it's really freaking cute. And no, I will not be adding tusks, but I did sew the end of the trunk to the middle so that it would make a loop. And this is the final result. And I'm so happy with how this turned out, especially because there were so many challenges that this presented along the way. Thank you so much to everyone who stuck around. I hope you loved this series. See you next time.